Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.
Welcome to the first episode of Today Africa podcast in 2025. And today we'll be exploring a very critical question. How can African teachers or Nigerian teachers and educational institutions, thrive financially in a rapidly changing environment? And joining with me is Myra Samuelson, a digital teacher dedicated to helping teachers and educational institutions increase their income.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. It's actually Myra.
Thank you for the correction.
No problem.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you became a digital teacher?
Okay. All right. So I'm Myra Onyinye, fondly called the Digi Teacher. So I've been a teacher all my life. I remember starting teaching while I was in primary school. I used to teach my classmates. So that was where the passion for teaching was, born. And I went, as I grew up, I was very smart. But my parents wanted me to study medicine, like in most African countries. Most African families, they want you to study medicine. So, but the way God did it, I would teach others. They will get very high score in JAM. But if I take JAM, I will get very low scores. I'll be like, what's happening? So that was how I said, okay, let me do pre-science. Then through pre-science, I will now get into medicine. All right. So I went into pre-science and I did my best. And unfortunately, they still gave me science education. So that is how I got into science education. But secretly, I was happy because education is something that I've always loved. I love teaching others. I love helping others understand difficult concepts. Like in school, when teachers will finish teaching, my classmates will just come up to me and say, Onyinye, please help us with this. Myra, please help us with that. And I'll be glad to help them. And it was like second nature to me. So that was how I got into education officially at the university. So I went through the university duration studying education, and I did excellently well. So I was like flying. So when I graduated, I took the professional exam for teachers, TRCN. So I became a qualified teacher and I started teaching officially.
What inspired you to start using technology and personalized e-learning to teach your students? Because I'm just curious. At least my dad was a teacher before he retired as a principal. So I want to know.
Oh, really? Your dad was a teacher? Oh, there are teachers in the family. Okay. So when I got into the educational system, I think I was confused. I will use the word confused. It wasn't what I expected. So because of my love for teaching and effective learning, I began to notice that, first of all, the strategies we use in the classroom, especially in Africa, is not very effective. And we have the problem of overcrowded classrooms. You see a classroom of 50 students and one teacher. How is that possible? And as an educator, you know that students have different learning styles. They have different level of understanding. They have different duration it takes them to understand the concept. So how is it feasible that one teacher standing in front of a 50 classroom of boys and girls would effectively teach all of them? It wasn't making any sense to me. That inspired my hunger to find out more. So I was asking the right questions. How can I effectively reach every child in my class? Because I've taught in rural areas, I've taught in urban areas. So I understand, the different contexts of what these teachers face in these different areas. So that inspired me to start asking questions. How can I effectively reach every child in my class, whether it's on site or online, because I also teach online. So that is when I started asking the questions, and I began to look online. I found technology, I found personalized e-learning. I said, this is it. That is how I delve into this area. So it's just a hunger to reach every child and make sure that they get the best out of the learning experience.
You're a teacher using technology and personalized e-learning. I believe there must be some challenges that you have faced. So, what are those challenges that you have faced, and how did you overcome them?
Okay. So first of all, I think I'm going to be talking from African, African teachers, because I know my passion goes out to African teachers. So one of the first challenge I faced was like, you're an African teacher. This technology and e-learning is for the white man, is for people, in the UK, the US. So, but I told myself, there's if a teacher in the US has the same brain like myself, God did not create teachers in the US and gave them a specialized brain to understand technology. Why not? If I can learn to read and write and they can learn to read and write, then I can learn anything. So I have this philosophy, I developed this philosophy that I can actually learn anything if I put my mind to it. So that was the first challenge. And that is what most teachers have. They believe that this tech is for those that are, those teachers that are teaching highbrow areas, they feel it's not for them. That's not true. So if you're a teacher listening to this, just shatter that mindset block. Shatter it. It's wrong. It's not correct. So that was the first thing I dealt with. Because I think another thing is that most teachers have this low self-esteem. In Nigeria, especially, let me use my country, they see teaching as this profession that you pass through while you're going to the real profession. You know what I'm talking about, right? So maybe
Yes.
a graduate finished from university and he's still looking for a job, he will jump into teaching. Why? That's injustice to the children that you're going to be encountering in the class. You're causing damage, like a lasting damage in their life, because you're not trained to be a teacher. You don't have the skill set. You don't have the passion. So you just go there and you destroy them, especially their love for learning. So that self-esteem is one of the challenges most teachers have. I'm going to start from the mind before I go into the other areas. So if you've settled in your mind that this tech and personalized e-learning is for you, even as an African teacher, a Nigerian teacher, a teacher in the rural areas, you're already on the path to getting to where you're going. So that was the first thing I settled in my mind. I told myself, there is no tech that I cannot learn. And that has opened up my mind. It has made me open-minded to see things and to learn things as fast as possible. So that's the first thing. That was the first challenge I had. So when I now went into it, and I began to see that it's not as easy as I used to think it is. So, but I had to spend hours. Sincerely, I learned. I gave it time. I studied. I tried. I failed. I tried again. So, and in Nigeria, because we have other challenges like light, electricity is not very stable, I had to find alternative measures to light. Yes, I had to. I got the generator, I got the inverter, I got the solar system. You can teach us, you can start at whatever level I didn't get all at once. Do you get? I didn't get all at once. So I started with small. I started with the small, whatever level, the money I had, but you had to invest. So that is another challenge I faced. Then I also faced the challenge of the internet. That's another challenge I faced. And I had to also get alternative internet sources. So these are the challenges I faced. And another challenge I faced as a digital teacher, a teacher using tech, is that most students in Africa are not used to tech. So most schools, the children are not exposed to tech at a very young age. So it's a new technology to them. It's a new thing. So you have to be patient as a teacher if you want to introduce tech to your students, because some of them might not like it. Some of them might not know how to use it. So I had to be patient, and I had to explain to their parents. I also had to work with the school authorities. I had to work with their parents to understand that this is the future of education. So these are the different challenges I faced, but I had to tell them that if we don't get the students to use these tools, then we're going to be doing them a disservice as leaders of tomorrow.
When I was going through what you do, I found out that you are a B2B to C kind of business or entrepreneur. You have customers to face, which are the teachers, and the business, which are the educational institutions. How do you help teachers and educational institutions increase their income? Because teachers want to make money.
Yes, teachers want to make money. You know, I remember in 2023, UNESCO released a data that half of the countries in the world, half of them, is only half, that pay teachers the rightful salary they should earn. Only half of the countries in the world. UNESCO released that data, and it shocked me because it's true. Most teachers are underpaid and overworked. Let me share a quick story with you. One of the reasons why I decided to help teachers increase their financial income using tech and the online space and AI. When I started my teaching journey, I moved very quickly. I moved from classroom to head of stream, and I moved to managing a school. I think in the space of 5 years, actually, I moved very fast because I loved what I did, what I was doing. So I was putting, everything, and people could see the passion and the expertise that I had. So in the school I was managing, the school owner was not very fair to teachers. I think it's everywhere, but I experienced it firsthand. So do you know that one of the days she came around in the school to the school, I was like dressed. I love looking professional, and she now saw me wearing a high heel, not high heel, like a shoe with a heel, because I wanted to look good. Because people have this notion that teachers are local, that broke. I hate it. It's not true. It's not true. So I was encouraging my teachers to dress well, because you'll be addressed the way you dress. So if you dress well, at least when the parents see you, they know you're not begging them for their money. You're rendering a service, a value to their children. The way they go and respect a doctor that takes care of their child's health, they should respect you because you take care of the child's mental, behavioral, cognitive. A lot of things go into forming and shaping a child in the classroom. So we should be accorded that same respect from parents. So as I was like, okay, I'm doing a good job, the owner came and said, "Why are you dressing like this?" She was shouting. I was confused. Do you know that she took my heels and threw it over the fence?
Chris.
I was like, what will I do? What will you? There's nothing you can do. So I was like, what is happening here? So that was me, directly to me, experiencing this. And because I knew there is nothing else I can do, I don't have any other source of income. Do you get it? If I lose my job, I'm gonna still go and find another school, and that school I was in is one of the high-paying schools in the city. So I had no choice. I literally had no choice. At that time, I didn't know I had a choice. So that was an incident. Then coming to the teachers, there was a day we are having meetings, and we have meetings even on Saturdays. Teachers don't have time for themselves. Don't come, you'll be sacked. So, and they'll get another teacher, another secondary school leaver. So you don't have any leverage. So on the Saturday, we came to her house, and she came out and was like, "Okay, everybody, welcome." And she brought out a seat for me to sit on. and the teachers were like standing. And she now told them, sit now, sit on the floor. Sit on the floor. Do you have this kind of house in your father's house? I was
Shit.
like, me, I was sitting because I was the school head, I was the school manager. So at least she gave me that respect. I sat, but where I was sitting, I was shivering, I was shaking, I was mad. I was like, what kind of humiliation is this? Because she knows the teachers don't have alternatives. There's nothing they can do. They don't have another stream of income. They sat on the floor. They did. We had the
That's too
meeting
bad.
and they left. So I've had experiences like that. I've had her tell a student to flog a teacher in front of her class. I don't know how the teacher will continue. A lot. So, but and in fact, that teacher had to quit because I think she had courage and she just wrote a letter to me, ma'am, and I don't think I'm going to continue. And I told her, I don't even know how you continue teaching a class that you were humiliated before, before them. So this is what made me. I was feeling angry at teachers being stuck in a system that they have no alternative to. So when I left, I had to quit. My husband really told me it's time to go. I love teaching, so leaving is very difficult for me. I am attached to the teachers, the students, and all that. But he told me that it's time to leave. So when we moved locations, and I came into a new location, I told myself, can I continue I don't want to continue like this. And I began to ask questions. It's important that you always question your status quo as a person. If you keep doing the same things and expect the same result, then are you a mad person? So so I began to ask questions. What can I do differently to get a different result? And that was when I went into searching, researching, asking questions, and I got into online teaching. And boom, that was the answer to my question. So I got into that and I said, wow, so I can actually do this to gain extra stream of income. And that's what I did. So after doing it for years, and I see teachers coming up to me with the same experience, with the same complaints, and I told them, actually there is another way you can increase your income. If you have another stream of income, you can actually argue your case. You can actually say, please, I don't like what you're doing to, because you have a backup plan. But if you don't have any, you just swallow every nonsense anybody throws at you. So that was how I got into empowering educators to look out of the traditional classroom to increase their income. There are the truth is that as I'm sitting here, we have about 15 ways teachers can make money apart from traditional classroom. And
Wow.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Online teaching, digital teaching is just one. I'm coming. Because my goal is to empower educators sincerely, to empower educators to be financially free so that they will know their worth, so that they can live a fulfilled life, so that they can be happy doing their job. Because if you're putting in all the hours of work and you're paid peanuts, you're not happy. And if you're not happy doing your work, your creative juices can't be flowing right. I know how much better I've gotten as a teacher because I earn better. Truth be told. So that was how I got into empowering teachers to be financially free. And they come to me, I train them. I wrote an ebook because I know teachers current and most of them don't have the money to pay. So I actually wrote that ebook as a way to give back to the teaching community. So even if you don't have money to pay for my one-on-one training or my close-up training, if you get that ebook, it will expose you to the possibilities of gaining financial freedom. So that is one way I help teachers gain financial freedom. So now coming to educational institutions. So what I do is to how I help them increase their income is that I work with EdTech companies, EdTech companies that provide e-learning services. So because I'm very good with tech and Online, if you're not very good with tech, you're going to mess up online classes and you're not going to have students come back. But if you know how to use the tech tools, the gamification tools, the collaboration tools, you're on fire and your students are loving it. And the learning experience is effective. They are learning, they're having fun. More customers will be coming. More customers. So what I do is that I go in, I train their teachers. I offer them online teaching strategies because on-site teaching strategy is not the same thing. The way you teach offline is not the same way you teach online. So I offer them online teaching strategies. I offer them tech tools that are appropriate to each age group. So the tech tools I use for adults is not the tech tools you should use for children. It's not going to work. Then I also teach them how to position themselves online. Because when I talk about tech, I'm talking about the online space. I'm talking about the tools. Okay. So I teach them how to position themselves online to be seen by the right clients that need their services. So these are some of the ways I empower them financially.
You made mention of the various ways that teachers earn money. Can you please list some of them so that others can, kind of, explore them and know if they can equally make money from there?
Amazing. So first is that as a teacher, you have a lot of transferable skills. As a teacher, you have your task. As a classroom teacher, you're tasked with speaking. You are actually a public speaker as a teacher because you speak to children, adults, students every day. So you have public speaking skills, and you can make money with your public speaking skills through trainings. You can be a trainer as a teacher. You can make money as a trainer, as a coach. So you can train others on whether you want to train them on early childhood education, whether you want to train them on how to use tech, or whether I want to, you're a STEM educator, you can train other educators on the skills that you have. So training and coaching is one way you can make money as an educator. Another way you can make money as an educator is books, ebooks. Some educators have a lot of experience that if they pour it into an ebook, other younger educators will be willing to buy it. So if you can just sit down as an educator and say, what do I have to offer? What value can I offer? How can I impact the next generation? You pour that into an ebook and you sell it and you're good to go. Okay. So another way you can make money as an educator is you can work with brands. There are brands that are looking for educators to test their tools, whether it's their tech tools or test their products. Most educators do these things for free. When they call educators, they will call all these tech guys to come and test out a product. They will pay them. But when they call an educator to come and test out an EdTech tool, they will tell you to do it for free. It's wrong. So that is another way. Working with brands is another way you can make money as an educator. I'll share more as we go. Let's continue.
If that the teachers that you have trained, there was lots of challenges that they have while trying to make money or increase their income. So what are some of the key challenges that teachers face while trying to achieve financial stability, and how do your methods help them to help in addressing these challenges?
Thank you very much for that question. So one of the main challenges I see them face is time constraints. Because teaching is a very demanding job. Most times as teachers, we leave our houses 6:30 a.m. because we need to be in school by 7:30 a.m. to welcome the parents and the students. And then you walk all the way. Sometimes you walk all the way through 4 p.m. And when school dismisses, you're not done as a teacher. So you still have to stay back, write your lesson plans, your lesson notes, grade the students' works, and prepare for the next class. I remember walking home by 7:30 p.m. as a young girl. I will walk home from school because I was walking. It's not funny, sincerely. teaching is really draining. So I see one of the challenges I see is that they don't have the time to even commit to learning, whether it's tech, whether it's how to teach online, whether it's how to apply to jobs that they need to. So one of the things one of the methods I use to help them is that I make my training self-paced. So I encourage them to still out time, no matter how little, because it's not like a live class that if you miss it, you've missed it. Because I'm a teacher, so I'm coming from them, I know what they're facing. So my trainings are self-paced, but I have live coaching calls on weekends. So throughout the week, they can still 30 minutes, 1 hour to watch the training, take something out of it. Then we come on weekends and we answer questions, because it's important to have live interactions in whatever training you're doing. And I also have community. That's one of the strategies I put in place to help them gain and implement these things. I have communities that where we come in and we are reviewing ourselves, we have accountability partners that encourage and inspire each other, so that they are like, if they see this person getting result, they are inspired and motivated to do something about it. Because most teachers, when you ask them, they say, I don't have time, I'm bogged down. But when they come into these communities and they see that this person is a teacher and she's doing it, why can't I? So these are the strategies I put in place to ensure that they get these things now and early. And I also see money constraints, because they're paid so little. One of the strategies I put in place is the ebook I talked earlier, which is free. I made it free so that they can access this, because my fulfillment comes from them being financially free. That's my joy. I see teachers that are balling. I love to see teachers that are balling. So, so that is me. So, and another thing I do is that in my training, I have instrumental payments. So, because I know they might not be able to pay, you might think it's 10,000. Some teachers can remove 10,000 from their monthly salary. They can't, because what they're paid can be. I know teachers that are paid 15,000, even up to today. 15,000 a month. Well, if they now remove the 10,000, do you understand? It doesn't make sense. So because of that, I put in instrumental training and installment payments that they can use to save up and get to where they're going. So these are some of the strategies that I put in to help them.
I believe that you're not just teaching them how to teach, how to use the digital tools and the online space. I believe that you're teaching them how to create content for their students. So what step can teachers take to create content, more especially an engaging e-content for their students?
The first thing is, as a teacher that is creating content, first of all, you have to know the audience you're creating the content for. That is the first step. So who am I creating this content for? Is it for year 5 class? Is it for a grade 8 class? What class? That's the first step. So if you understand the audience, then you should find excuse me, age appropriate materials that you need for them. So that is why I tell them it's not every tech tool that you should use for every class. So the first step is to identify your audience. Then when you've identified your audience, the next thing is to identify their learning styles. Understanding your audience is very important. How do they learn? So if in my classroom, I have students that love learning through visuals, and I'm creating a content that is full of text, it's not going to be engaging for them. Okay, but if I understand that there are different learners in my class and I have to cater to all of them, I infuse into my content all this information I have. That is what we call the UDL design, universal design learning, UDL. So it's like a framework we use in creating engaging content. So it has 3 aspects. So we have multiple means of representation. So how do you represent your content? It must fulfill the 5 senses. So in representing your content, to make it engaging, the students must see it. They must see it in form of text. They must see it in form of images. They must see it in form of motion. That is why you include videos in your content, so that as they are seeing the written word, they're seeing, maybe for example, if you want to teach colors, you're going to write the different colors in text, bold text, or bold, don't make it tiny, especially if it's online. Then you have to show the pictures of the colors. Let them see the blue, maybe a splash of blue, a splash of yellow. Then you can get a video where you see the colors moving and dancing. So they say, okay, this is the color is moving and dancing. So depend. I'm just using a younger audience now as an example. So now you've satisfied the site. Then you have to include audio. They need auditory. They are auditory learners. Like I said, there are different kinds of learners. Auditory learners. You have to cater to them. They need to hear a song, a rhyme. You can even use I use text to speech in my classes too. It's engaging. So they are not just reading, they are hearing it. So in that way, you're engaging them. Then another thing is, we have learners that love to learn with their hands, kinesthetic learners. They love to touch. What activities will you be doing in that classroom? You can tell them, if it's an on-site classroom, you can tell them to come with their crayons, or you can even mold colors, get different dough. You know this, I don't know if you know, sorry. There's what we call play dough. They can come with it, you get different colors, and they make it with their hands. That's an engaging content. Okay, if it's an on-site class, you can tell them to get it in their own houses, and as you're doing that, they're also doing it. So don't say that because it's an online class, it shouldn't be engaging. No, you can achieve engaging content even outside the on-site classroom, even online. So they must see it, they must hear it, they must touch it, and they must talk about it. Discussion is very important. Then finally, you can now use the gamification tools. Bring in gamification tools. And when I talk about gamification here, you can even include it in your lesson. Let there be a healthy competition in the classroom, like not like the rivalry kind of, but let there be a healthy competition where they're seeing the leaderboard. Oh, maybe you say Nkechi is getting higher than me, or you say John, something. It helps people to be inspired. So bring in those gamification tools that can help engage them in the classroom. So, and if you're creating content, maybe you want to create a video for your students, you can also make sure that these videos are, your faces are clear, your voice is loud, the way you're dressed is also part of the engaging content, because they're going to be talking about the way you look even after you're gone. So these are the various ways you can create engaging content for your learners.
It's one thing to learn a skill, a new thing is another to market yourself. So how can teachers position themselves and their skill in order to attract a potential client, both offline and online?
Okay, I think the first thing I would say is, if you are that teacher that is not offline, that is not online, is an error. So there's a saying that goes that the world is a global village. We know that the world is now a global village, and the internet is the village market square. Let me say that again. The world is the global village, and the internet is the market square. You know, the way we have market square where everybody gather in our villages. That is what the internet is. So if you're a teacher and you're not online, is a big error, because in this age and time, the online space is where everybody is on. But I'm still going to address those that are offline, how to position themselves. So once you've learned the skills, start talking to people about it. Some teachers, when they learn a skill, they don't talk about it. Nobody knows. Even their colleagues don't know. Talk to parents about it. Talk to your fellow teachers about it. Talk to your administrator about it. When they know you have such a skill, they can call you up to come and train the other teachers. You've positioned yourself. But if they don't know that you have such a skill, then there's nothing that they can do about it. And then let the skills you've learned reflect in your classroom. So don't wait to be called upon to train. Start implementing it in your classroom. Like you said, in my trainings, I don't just teach you how to make money. I teach you effective teaching strategies. My goal is to make sure that as a teacher, when you enter your classroom, you deliver exceptionally. So I teach you working and updated teaching strategies. So once you've learned those teaching strategies, start implementing it in your classroom so that they begin to see the difference in your students' scores, in their behavior, in your classroom management. They begin to see there's something different about this class because of the teacher. So they begin to look at you differently. So when there's a position maybe for a head teacher or for a promotion, because you position yourself in results, because results is a positioning. Having results is a positioning skill. So they can recommend you. They can say, okay, let's call teacher A, let's call teacher B. So that is one way teachers that are offline, that don't have even a social media account, can position themselves offline. Another way you can position yourself is by attending trainings. This is both online and offline. Attend meetings, networking, attend meetings, meet people. I've people that have, most of the people, not most, some of the people that have recommended me are people I met offline, because not everybody is online. That's the truth. So you can meet people offline, meet them, go to these physical meetings, contribute. Don't go there and sit and listen all through. No question. You don't ask question. You don't even contribute. You don't even laugh. Just do something so that they will know that you came, so that they can notice you. Because for me, positioning is visibility. That is it. Positioning is visibility. How to make yourself be seen. There is something we do in marketing. It's called trust, know, trust, and like. Know, trust, and like. These are the three things that will help you get clients. If people know you, if they trust you, and if they like you, you're on your way to getting clients. So these are the ways you can gain visibility or position yourself offline. Then if you come online, just pick a platform and then showcase your expertise. So first of all, I'm going to use LinkedIn because that's my favorite platform. But I love LinkedIn so much. And if you're a teacher, please get on LinkedIn. It's very, very important. So if you are online, one of the things you have to do is first of all get a professional picture. Please let your headshot be professional. The picture they see there, let it be professional. Then you have to optimize your profile. I know many persons have heard about this, but some still don't do it. Optimize your profile. When people come to your profile and they read it, what what's the worth or the sense? What do they sense about your worth or your value? Many people have chatted me up and say, I'm impressed by your profile. I looked through your profile, and I think it's maybe one of the things that also made you like, you look through my profile, like this profile is like giving. So optimize your profile and put in the no matter how late that thing you think is little, there's a way to do it. There's a way to say it, and people will see the value. Most teachers, they value themselves. They value the hours they spend moving a child that cannot read to a fluent reader. Do you know that is transformation on its own? Do you know that you have the power to transform a nation? If you can transform a child, that means you have the power to transform a nation. But most teachers see it as, I'm just a classroom teacher. We're just singing A is for apple, B is, what's that? No. So understand your value and relate that value adequately to others. That's what I talked earlier about transferable skills. Identify your skills as a teacher and let the world know that these are the skills you have. Teachers have writing skills. Do you know we write lesson notes every lesson? We write to teachers. We write. That some writing skills are not refined. So identify your skill, optimize your profile, and show up. The online space is like a shop. Imagine if I come to a shop and your shop is always closed. Will I keep coming? No, I'm gonna keep coming because I think you're not serious. But if I see that other lady, she's always there, 7 a.m. She's opened her shop. She's selling. You might have more goods than how. You might even have what I want. But because you're not showing up, your shop is closed. I'm going to come buy from her till you open. I'm going to be patronizing her. So show up and show up good. Show up good. So what are the things you can post? Those things that show your expertise, those things that show your journey, how you've been able to come to this point, those things that show your behind the scenes, those things that show us what you do on a daily basis, putting into consideration security, data privacy, and all that. There are ways to do this. So showcase yourself, position yourself in that area. Then talk about global trends. Some teachers, all they post is their classroom. That's good. You're positioning yourself. That's good. You're positioning yourself to attract online clients that can talk to you about their students, their teachers, their children. But if you want to position yourself globally, begin begin to talk global. Begin to think about what are the global issues teachers face. What are the global issues educators face. Talk about these things. Begin to um, host trainings. There's always something you can train on. Free training. So when you have these trainings, you train others for free. It's not only always about money, money, money. Train others for free. You'll see, okay, this lady has something to give. Last year I was invited to train teachers in Hungary. Yes, I have teachers in Hungary. I have teachers in Asia. I have teachers from the UK on how to take take tech tools, and I was paid in euros for it. So I'm a classroom teacher, but I'm still. I told you there's another stream of income. But because I've shown that I know these things and I can teach it to you, I can help you, I can support you. They say, okay, this lady can do this. But more teachers, do you know that some teachers know more than I do? But because I'm not online, that they're not even being seen. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm not the best. Someone is always better than anybody. Do you understand? But because you're not positioning yourself, you're not putting it out there, you're not letting others know your value. No, I'm Christian, so I'm going to quote a scripture. The Bible says, nobody lights a candle and puts it on the wick. So some teachers carry light, they carry value, but they're hiding. That's not position, that's hiding. So if you want to position yourself, you have to put your light on a bushel, on a stand, so that everybody can see. And also collaborate. Collaboration is an way of positioning yourself. People at the top don't compete. We collaborate. We don't compete. So if I'm invited to speak, if someone is doing a training, I share it. There are a lot of teachers that train. So there's no competition. The playing field is vast. Okay. So these are some of the ways you can position yourself as a teacher online and on site.
What advice would you give to new teachers or old teachers who are just starting to use technology and digital tools in their teaching?
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say is be patient. And most of them, when they put head into tech, they be like, no, this is not for me. And they run away. So that's the first advice. Be patient because this is the future. If you don't want to be obsolete, if you don't want to lose your job, then you have to be patient and learn these tools. They're not difficult. If you can transform a child from a dullard in quotes, no, I believe no child is dull. But if you can transform a child that is not knowledgeable in an area to become a master in that area, then you can transform yourself from a novice in tech to a master in tech. So the same way you believe in that child, believe in yourself. So the first one is to be patient. Then the second one is to collaborate. You can't do this tech thing on your own. You have to have a network of community. Reach out to people. Follow people that matter. Get a mentor. You need a mentor. If you want to learn it on your own, it's going to take you years. I've gone. It say when you want to go farther, when you want to go faster, go alone. But if you want to go farther, go with others. Okay, so if you do it alone, you might lose interest or the challenges might overwhelm you. But if you go together in a community, having a mentor, then you are going to go far. Then the next advice I'm going to give to them is that know that money is there, money is in tech. That is an advice. Know it and know it. So there is money in EdTech. So if you're going to be just patient and collaborate with others and know that challenges is part of the process, trust the process, then you're going to come out the other end bigger and stronger and more financially strong. So be patient, network, collaborate, get a mentor, and share with others so that we all as the teaching community can grow together and be stronger. So, thank you.
Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.